Hello, my name is Matthew Creer. I use they, them pronouns. And in this video, I'd like to show you my computer music instrument, the Horn of Plenty 1. It's an instrument that I actually interact with. I play it using my Wind controller. This is an Akai Iwi right here. All right, and a little bit later on, I'm going to play the instrument for you using this Wind controller here. Let me show you around a little bit. First of all, I use this instrument to improvise, and I actually use a timer. I have a set of timers. This one here is 5 minutes, but I have a 3-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute timer. And what this does, it helps me kind of stay focused and stay organized, just how long I'm going to improvise. So that's one of the first things that I do is I start running one of these timers when I start improvising, and then I begin playing. The Horn of Plenty 1, here I'm actually going to turn off my ring light here while I'm focusing on the screen, and when I start playing again, I'll turn the light back on. So let's focus on the screen here. The Horn of Plenty 1 uses 2 languages. I'll get to this second language, processing. This is for the digital art aspect, but the real heart of this instrument uses the Super Collider language, which is an audio synthesis language, and it's a musical language. The first part here is for my Iwi. Okay. And my Iwi, and actually the entire instrument, uses a tuning system. Let me just go down there for a minute and tell you about that for a minute. This tuning system right here, it's scaled to make a scale for the MIDI notes, but this tuning system is actually my first region in my system that I'm using. It's a 1-1, a 7-6, a 4-3, a 3-2, 5-3, and an 11-6. Okay, so this is the just intonation scale that I use. And if you notice, these are all divisible by 6. And that actually determines my rhythms as well. So let's say 1-1 is actually a bar of 6. And then the note 7-6 actually plays at a tempo that is a 7 poly rhythm over 6. 4-3 will actually be 8 notes, and it goes on like that. So part of the Iwi will just play a sustained note. Another part of it is going to play a rhythm. So let's go over here, and I can show you those rhythms. Here's a bank of rhythms right here. Okay. So we can see that those patterns start. The Iwi's range is MIDI notes 37 to 97. So middle C right here being 60. So you can see it's kind of, middle C is right in the middle, and then it goes from there. I have it scaled to be around trombone range. I'm a trombonist. Trombone is my first instrument, so I'm very comfortable. This is why I'm so comfortable with this instrument. So here I have it. It's when I play MIDI notes 60 through, I'm going to show you here, through 75, I trigger these pattern objects here. Right here, degree and duration, you can see that they're connected. When I use my scale, I use, for example, scale degree 3 has a fixed duration. And it also quantizes. If you take a look here, I have a library of my polyrhythms that they will actually quantize to these rhythms as well every time I trigger a note. So everything stays nice and tight. And I also have conditionals down here. Okay, not only does my iwi play its own notes, but it triggers other pattern objects. So while I'm playing these polyrhythms on my iwi, I'm also interacting with polyrhythms from other pattern objects. I'll show you those in a moment. All of these synthesizers, okay, they're based off of some James McCartney code. He wrote Super Collider and wrote this very elegant code that I like to use. These are FM synthesizers that when I run this, okay, take a look at this. This is very cool. I run this code right here. This is the iwi for the iwi. This writes 30 FM synthesizers, and it's very cool because it's a 3-operator synthesizer that will, it has 3 different configurations. So look at A, B, and C configurations. And we'll set them up. And my iwi will actually change timbres as I'm playing. So I have various polyrhythms, and it will change timbres while I play. So I'm not in complete control of this instrument while I'm improvising. It is very engaging to play this instrument. I love it. Okay, and there it is right here. This is how it actually changes. It listens to me playing. And the system is right here. It's actually a randomizer. Okay. All right. It uses there's a 20% chance of it choosing over here. Wait a second. Yeah, 20% chance of it changing my timbre. Okay, if we go over, oh, here are those rhythms. Okay, there's my bank of rhythms. And then if I go over here to this portion of the instrument, again, if I, oh, and here are some simple management. Oh no, wait, I actually use, I prefer, those are a little bit older. I actually have these running. A limiter, an amplifier, and this reverb works a little bit better. Sometimes I use this NDEF up here, but I prefer these ones now. And this one over here, for the synthesizers that I interact with that listen to me, I have 100 of those sounds. Let me run that. There we are, seeing the post window over here. 100 FM synthesizers. And there's that array. Okay, we can see right here. And there's a routine that will assign these. Okay, take a look. Here's my array. I have an array of 100 synthesizers. Oh, and there's my tuning system. I also have it over here in case I just need to run it over here. There's my tuning system. And then the tuning system gets processed into a scale. And this scale goes into my pattern object. I have a bank of these pattern objects here. And under instrument, I can choose from this array, this bank of synthesizers that have been written to the server. Now, we can see here my scale degrees, my pitch, and my durations. They are connected. So, this may remind you of total serialism, right? Where parameters are actually connected with one another. I don't consider myself a serialist or anything like that, but there's some overlap, and I acknowledge that. And down here are these are my registers. So to get some variety here, it's 3 different octaves, right? Registers 3, 4, and 5. And these synthesizers, or these pattern objects, right, they will choose, randomly choose a duration pitch, and they interlock with each other. So I have 3 of these. So these are playing together and playing with me, and I weave in and out of them. And down here we can see that there's actually a 90% chance of them responding to me. Right? Here's whenever I play a MIDI note, it's listening, and it triggers this random counter. And I have it counts at 10. And if the value is less than 9, oh, these ones are 9. And over here, this over here will change my tempo. So I'm changing the tempo and triggering these 3 synthesizers. And it's also going to choose my synthesizer settings. I also use these pattern objects in this tab over here. I have these pattern objects. The nice thing about these, there's a different type. You see there's P-bind defs and then P-binds. You know, they're similar, but you know, their uses, there's some nuance there for what's useful. A P-bind def is nice because you can set a P-bind def while it's playing, and it's not going to make another instance. SuperCollider is very powerful, and with a P-bind it will keep creating instances, but P-bind def, it will preserve the integrity of that, so you only have one instance, so you don't keep overwriting it. But with these P-binds here, that's not as much of an issue. So I have a bank of other pattern objects, but these are not for audio. These are actually these are my video patterns. So let me show you this. I have a network set up for OSC. And again, we can see that my colors now are also tuned. I'll show you that over in the processing language, but let me show you how I have these pattern objects set up. Again, they're tuned colors, and these are going to be XY coordinates. I'll show you what that's all about in a moment. But when I go down here, okay, this PRAND object, okay, this gets triggered over here. So there's some more listening over here. Okay, and when these get triggered, okay, here's a randomizer that will choose from these banks, and these will communicate. Let me show you processing now. Let's go over here. And over here in processing, this is very simple code, but very effective. In here, here's the OSC messages. Very simple because SuperCollider does a lot of the heavy lifting. However, there's a few very useful things to consider. As we can see, where are we at? We can see here that the color mode is, I have it switched over to hue, saturation, and brightness. And the setting is 1200, which if you work with scales in any capacity, you'll notice that it's a musical number. 12 notes to a scale, 100 cents to a note, so I have this set up so I can actually tune my colors. And so that means that I can map the proportions. You know, these are just proportions. It's not a fixed absolute. I'm not talking about synesthesia or anything like that. These are proportions that correspond with my scales. All things that I determine, but it creates one cohesive experience. So let's take a look here. These are my coordinates, and then I actually have the shading set up so that it's a little bit softer. That's what these are here. You can see that. Right. Should have changed that to 30. And when I go down here, oops, where's the object? Okay, and I use line objects. I use these lines here. And let me go ahead and show you how this works. So when I have everything running, so fingers crossed that's going to run. I start processing. There we go. I'm going to turn my light on so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, here's my wind controller. Right. And here we go. Okay, so there's a demonstration of the instrument. You can watch a performance of the piece, but you can see that the video will hold still and it won't move, and then I can interact with it. The whole instrument will actually pause, and it will wait for me. And those are some particularly clean iwi sounds. But sometimes when the synthesizer changes, it recedes into the background, and the synthesizers are more forward. So it's a wonderful way to improvise. It's very fascinating. I'd like to show you just the iwi portion now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn processing off. In fact, I'm going to turn Super Collider off for a minute. I'm going to just restart the iwi portion here. See if I can get that to work. Because I just want to show you how the iwi works on its own. So, fingers crossed. Let's go ahead and get this going again. So I'm going to play just the iwi portion of this instrument, because I know there's a lot going on. But so here I go. I rewrote, I instantiated some fresh synthesizers. Rewrote those to the synthesizer. Okay, I'm going to get these arrays set up. I know the tuning is written to the server, but let's get that going again. That's how it shows up there. My MIDI def going. Set this up. Okay. I'll just show you how just the iwi works on its own and the different sounds that I can go through. Okay, it's a little quiet. There's the low notes on the instrument. I don't play rhythm. Now it just changed, right? There's a new timbre. Okay, and the timbre keeps changing. Let's see if we can get some rhythms now. That's right, we have to run the rhythm portion. Let's go ahead and start that up now. There. Now, the higher portions of the instrument, right? There's the lower registers, there's the higher registers. Let's see if we can get a faster tempo, huh? And up we go. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Right here. Let's just do this. So, as you can hear, the iwi will change timbres as I play, and each note has a different tempo for each that corresponds, of course, with its pitch that goes with my just intonation tuning. Okay, well, I hope that this was illuminating for the music and the art that I play, and thank you so much for watching.